Hello, hello. Oh, I'm already live. Wow, that was so fast. I was starting to hit it and then I stopped because I wanted to do something else. Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thank you for joining us. I am excited about today. I think today is kind of a topic that we need, and maybe some of us ignore, but it's bridges to barriers to bridges, backwards there. Barriers to bridges. And the reason I think this is important is because we oftentimes talk about, moving forward. Like I love to say 1% better every day. And one of the things is that we we either ignore what's going on or we lean into it without flipping the script. And so if you aren't learning to or don't have the habit of flipping that script at all times, not at all times, but you know what I mean, as often as possible, then the more you do it, the easier it is to do. Hold on one second. Let me find our presentation. Where is it? Where is it? I must have saved it to the wrong folder. Talk about being in denial. So I really need glasses and I hate wearing them. So I don't, and then I can never see. Just thought I'd share that real quick. All right, I'm gonna have to re-download this. So if you are on in the chat, give me something recent that you was like a challenge or something that you had going on that you kind of caught yourself on and flip that script. You decided, I am going to figure this out and I'm going to do the opposite of that. So if you can think of a time, that would be cool. Put that in the chat below. I know for me personally, I actually have like a very strange superpower with positiveness. If anybody knows me well, you know that I do. And so my mind almost automatically goes through this. However, with my clients, I find that I work a lot with trying to help them make sure that they're able to do this, because you want to be able to do it in the moment instead of, a long, long, long time later, because, oh, that's already in there. Oh, no, it wasn't. Okay. You want to be able to do it in the moment because you want to be able to move fast and get through things as quickly as possible. And that's really, what you want to practice as you're going through it. So this organization here. This is one of my things that I'm working on this month is my rituals and routines, because I am a little bit nutty, as I am sure some of you could possibly be, just because I think it's kind of in the nature of who we are and what we do. And most of the time I say, lean into what you've got going on, because hey, lean into what you have going on, because you really want to be able to use your strengths. All right, I am going to share my screen. We're going to start this presentation. Okay. I'm gonna hide the pictures. All right, here we go. Adapting to change. Proven 3-part framework for coaches. And oh, do I have the cheese going on today? I have actually, instead of one acronym that I normally have, I've got 3. I need to fix this page. I have 3 acronyms, so super fun. Let's see. Do I even know? Let me, if I could have like somebody do this for me, I probably would, but I don't think I really can. Let me share this. No. Okay. All right, there we go. I am uh, I'm logged in. All right, I might be sharing this twice. Let's see. Let's see, let's see, let's see. I don't see me live in there. All right, I'm not positive where I went live. Zero stress. All right, so here we go. Let's turn your barriers into bridges. My little cheesy thing, barriers into bridges. You get it? Get it? A very cool bridge. We have some nice bridges in Panama. In Atlanta, there are a lot of like little mini bridges. All right. So the first one is assess. That is the first acronym. ASS, ESS. Assess the situation. So the first thing you need to do is figure out what's going on. What's the challenge? What's the problem? What's going on? And if you've never heard me say this, I like to say baby rage. If you've never heard me talk about a baby rage, what I would like to call a baby rage is either one of two things. One is another word that I say, but it starts with a B and ends with ing, but it's like pre-stressing about things. That is not a good thing. So the first thing you want to assess is this something real? Is it happening now? Or am I like just pre-stressing about something that could or possibly, or if it's that, you need to pop it out of your mind. So the fastest way to happiness is control what you can control. So if you're going to sit around stressing about things that haven't even happened yet, or could happen, or might possibly happen, you're going to be A, miserable, B, like inundated with stress and stuff that you're thinking about rather than working on the present day problems. So assess the situation. What's the situation all about? Oh, who's Erica? It's right there at the beginning. We're not going to talk about it. All right, who's Erica? Just so you know, I've been in digital marketing since 2007. Love it. Every single day I wake up just as happy, maybe even more excited as I was way back in the day. I started coaching shortly after I started my digital marketing agency back then. This is just some of the stages I've been on, some of the people I've met, and some of the exciting things that I've done. And hope that for all of you, what I do now is I transform coaches from unknown experts to getting visible and being thought leaders in their own industries so that they have their clients coming to them rather than reaching out to their clients. So much better. All right. I already told you the framework. I cheated. Sorry. Assess. All right. Acknowledge change. I think I did that for every single one. Shoot. Acknowledge changes. So there are always going to be changes. And if you let yourself baby rage, if you let yourself, just stew on stuff and really get nervous about changes, you're not going to be able to move forward. So this game is fast. Being an entrepreneur, being a coach, it is fast. You have to move. It's not a sitting around on our hands type of thing. If we wanted to do that, we could do that in the 9 to 5. But we don't. We want excitement and we want change and we want our lives moving. So we have to acknowledge it, embrace it, be all about it. So survey the landscape, see what those problems really are. Again, is it a problem that I'm worried about, like from the future? If so, figure out a way to let it go. You don't want to worry about things that aren't happening now. And then if it's something that's happening now, what is it that you really, what is it that you really think about it? What's going on with that problem? What are the things that you can see? Are there people you can talk to? Maybe you can look at trends that are going on. What's going on right now? Opportunities, challenges within your niche. Again, be open to them. Instagram, Facebook, they're changing daily. If your strategy is a good one, if you have a great strategy of how you're getting yourself out there, and then you have a back end that backs that up, if you've created an entire web, then you don't need to worry about what's going on with the algorithm or what the changes are. However, if they add something new, maybe that's something you want to be aware of and you want to test out. Maybe seek insight. So if you have some changes or some challenges that you need some help with, get feedback. Ask for help. I heard something that Les Brown said this morning, and I wish I would have written it down, but it was something to the effect of asking for help shows strength rather than weakness, because I don't remember why, but I like the concept, because obviously if we have the courage to say, hey, I need some help, that is a lot stronger than trying to ignore it and hide behind it. So courage is asking for the help. So gather feedback, ask your clients, what do you see that's going on? How do you see that, this is working or whatever, your peers, your mentors, get perspectives on the changes from different people and different sources. So when Threads came out, how many of you hopped on that Threads thing down below? I did. I was like, oh, I guess I better check it out. I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't get into it. And so maybe 3 to 5 days, I really didn't give it a shot. That is not giving something a shot, just in case anybody's wondering. But I had so many other things going on at the moment. I just couldn't do it. And I still have it, but I don't hang out there. So seeking insight, I asked other people, are you doing Threads? Are you in Threads? And in my world, nobody really seemed to be over there, so I didn't stress myself out about it. If everybody was like, oh, you have to be there, which at first, remember, all of the, gurus were saying you have to be there, but then it kind of fizzled really quick, like 5 days. Anyway, so seek insights, get other people's insights and perspectives, and that does not opinions. That does not mean you have to listen to them, right? You're getting those to combine them or get a different viewpoint than your own. I don't know if you were on last week, but I showed the 2 men, one looking at a 6 and one looking at a 9, and it was the exact same, thing on the ground. So sometimes a different perspective can open your eyes to a new opportunity, to a new way to do it, to some other thing that you didn't quite see. Again, that thing when it's right in front of you, you don't necessarily see it. Evaluate your approach. So analyze what you're doing. And again, seek insight. Is it the right approach? Is it helping your clients? Are they enjoying it? Are they moving quickly through it? Are they attracted to, your initial approach before they're your clients? Analyze and evaluate what it is that you're doing. So are your methods working? Are the tools that you're using getting you where you want to go? Is it something that, maybe you need to change? What type of engagement strategies are you using, and are they working? Are they aligned with any of the changes that came about? So we're talking about making sure that we don't let barriers such as changes get in our way. We want to have fast ways to jump over those barriers, build bridges over them, through them, whatever it is. We want to have fast ways to get through it. So if there's some big change coming out, evaluate your approach. Is it still going to work? Is it still working now? Is it still the way that you want to do it? And you should be doing that anyway, at least quarterly, if not annually. Set goals. You hear me talk about this a lot. And if you're in my world, I just would like to give a quick shout out Mike Harrison and I are doing a challenge coming up on March 19th. Achieve goals now. If you would like in on that, just type goals underneath this video, and I'd love to send you an invite. Achieve goals now. We did it. This is our second or third time now, but it's amazing. It's so awesome. Our clients are loving it and moving forward. Side note. All right. So you guys know that my main thing is coaching coaches, but they are coaches in there in that one as well. All right. So set goals. Everybody knows SMART goals. Make sure that your goals have deadlines, that they have dates, that they have numbers behind them. How many, how much, how often? Those types of things are really going to help get your goal. And do you need to go into a new direction? Do you need to go into, so for example, when Threads came out, I probably needed to decide at that moment, if I wanted to go all in on Threads. I decided I didn't, right? After I went through these steps, I decided I didn't. But if I had decided that I needed to go all in on Threads, then I was going to have to reevaluate all of the other things that I was doing. What were my approaches? How can I, take away from some? Remember, sorry, love doing that live. So remember when you're saying no, when you're saying yes, like if I had said yes to Threads, I'm saying no to something else, or maybe a whole bunch of something else, because it was also new on top of just adding or switching to it. So if I had a big enough team, the idea would be to add something new. You don't want to turn off other things that are working if you can add to them. But if you're a one-man show, sometimes you have to make those decisions. And, if you have a bigger team, sometimes you still have to make those decisions. Maybe everybody's still already accounted for. So set those goals, make them clear, make them adaptable, make them things that you can still move. Always, always, always review. What is your BHAG? What is that big goal that you want to move towards? So I think I told you all several times that I own a small language school. Well, before COVID, it was actually a brick and mortar, and I loved it. I did love the brick and mortar. But looking back, I laugh. I'm like, what possessed me to open a brick and mortar? Because I started my online business in 2007 because I wanted to have freedom of location. I wanted to be able to go and move around where I wanted to go. And the minute I opened that brick and mortar, I cut that off, which is so strange. So I'm not really sure. You get swept up sometimes. So if I had been going through these, I may not have opened it. And I loved it and it was great. And now it's online. But looking back, I do laugh thinking I have no idea what possessed me. So know what your BHAG is. What is that ultimate goal for you? And I know for me that it has a lot to do with those freedoms. I want to have freedom of location. I want to have freedom of time. I want to be able to move around, and I want to be able to jump up and go. And freedom of finances, freedom of being able to do that. I didn't really have that back in the day. And I've recently decided to step up my game. And the reason I didn't have it was because I had enough to do what I wanted to do. But when my parents got sick, is probably, I lost both of them in the last 10 years. So I had the freedom of being able to go visit and stuff like that. But even after they died, I didn't really start thinking about this. But had something massive happened where I needed to help them in some like big numbers way, I wouldn't have been able to. And I didn't like that feeling. And then I started thinking about myself, if something happens, I want to be able to do that. My brother, anybody in my circle, I want to have the freedom to be able to do that. I want to have, a lot more than what I had in the past. So that's, I've added it to it. And so now when I look at things, that's also part of it. And your values, everything comes into it, but just make sure that you're looking at the overall thing, so just adding in the financial part for me. I didn't take away any of those other things. I also did not change my values. So anyone who knows me knows I care about my clients. I care about their success and their forward momentum a lot. And so if I say I'm going to do X, I definitely do X, but I probably do X, Y, and Z. Now, does that diminish my profits a little bit? Probably, but if I didn't do X, Y, and Z, it would diminish my values, and I'd rather diminish the profits over the value. So always keep in mind, you need to have the full picture before you make any massive decisions. And when you set your goals, looking at that big overall picture is critical, and you can bump that big goal down. Like, what is your major goal of the year? You know, that helps you get there. But what's your major goal of the year? And then set your more I want to say local, but immediate goals for, you know, the one for the year that helps you get to the one for the big one. You get it. Strategize. So do this by yourself, but brain dump, brain dump, brain dump. If you are not brain dumping on a constant basis, you're probably nuttier than me. So I've recently started doing this a lot more often. And the reason is because when we have things in our brains, you know, like, do you remember those? You're my age. Do you remember those? I think they were called pinball machines, right? Yeah, pinball machines. You pull back the thing and the little ball goes up and it comes down and they go. Well, that's what goes on with our brains. If you have some idea running around in there, or some issue, some problem, some anything. Oh, I have to do this next week. I don't care if it's take the dog out, whatever it is. If you're not brain dumping that, it is pinging around in there and it's taking up that space that you really need for what you're working on right now, to be in the present, to be with your clients, to be live, to do whatever. So start brain dumping. That is a great way to start strategizing, because you can see a lot bigger picture once you start doing that. So it's not the only way to strategize, but I would say definitely do that. Figure out, you know, look back at those goals, figure out what those are, make sure that they're aligned with where you want to go, make sure that they're aligned with any new changes, you know, that maybe might have sparked this to the beginning, at the beginning, any of that. So just strategize. Are you going to change your coaching approach? Are you going to change your marketing strategy? Are you going to be bringing in some new people, some new tools? What is it that you're going to do? And again, some people don't want to hire outside people. Why? Change. So if we're talking about breaking down those barriers and building bridges, we want to bring in new people. And it's stressful, and I know that, it doesn't always work out the way we want it to work out. And sometimes the things in our mind are, you know, oh my God, I'm going to have to sit down and have that conversation where I might have to let them go when they have 6 kids at home. You know, these things happen, and you have to think about those, but there's ways to help yourself, obviously. But you still need to be moving forward. You still need to expand, grow, and get at least 1% better every single day. So strategize how you're going to do that. Maybe if that stresses you out so much, you decide that you can add some more AI. I am loving AI. And my partner and I, with my agency, we're diving super deep into AI and have taken several courses and things like that about AI. I mean, every day I'm like, wow, more and more that we can do. So if you don't have AI in your system and you need help with that, let me know. But Google it. I mean, AI is everywhere right now. But that's one way that you can do it. You know, if you don't have SOPs, standard operating procedures, start them now, because those are the types of things that you are going to be able to use when you hire somebody else on. So strategize. Do you need tools? Do you need techniques? Do you need a coach? What is it that you need to be able to accomplish those goals and move you forward? All right, so that was step 1, assess the situation. The next one, I didn't do it. Build resilience. Let me see. Yep. So 6 letters, build resilience. Good. Build is 5. So no, it's not that. All right, B, believe in your ability. You've got this. And if you need to start standing in front of the mirror every day saying, I have got this, I rock, I'm amazing. One of my clients was just doing this the other day, like walking around the house saying, I am a coach. That was making her very uncomfortable. So you need to believe in your own ability. And yes, I mean, 100%, I always say this, get a coach that believes in you when you don't believe in yourself. But you have to believe in yourself enough to even get the coach to begin with, right? You have to believe in your ability to be able to do this, whether it's faith, whether it's affirmations, whether it's, the one on the right is by actually doing it. That is the most phenomenal way of all. So I love a book called Eat That Frog. I think it's Brian Tracy. How many of you have read that book? Let me know down below. Eat That Frog. Love Eat the Frog. It's a great book. What it says in a nutshell is get the hard stuff done first thing in the morning. While I definitely preach that and definitely believe in that, I would say you should do some pre-activities to that activity. And the reason I say it is we need to get those easy wins. How many of you have seen that video? It's like I don't know if he's a Navy SEAL, a Marine, I forget what, but he's some sort of military, and he does the video about making your bed in the morning. Again, I have made my bed in the morning. I don't even remember when I didn't. So for me, it is just habit, and I hate when the bed is unmade. So I'm sure I fought against it when I was little, but as I got older, I never leave my bed unmade. It's the first thing I do when I get up. But point of his video is that it's an accomplishment. If you can get up and make your bed, that's a yay me. Pat on the back, you've done it. So if you can do a couple of those quick wins in the morning, maybe you walk every morning. And so that's a quick win. You've got that under your belt already. Check, bed made, check. Some people have really, really bad days, and maybe just getting out of bed is a good thing, or brushing your teeth is a good thing, whatever it is for you. But make those quick little mini wins that you can get in before the hard one. And I say do that hard one first thing in the morning. Absolutely 100%. But I think if you can do a couple of those first, your belief in yourself and your momentum of accomplishing will already be in stride. And I think that's really important. So believe in your ability to do it. A lot of coaches come on the scene and they have this massive imposter syndrome, like, well, I'm new, I don't know what I'm doing. That is not true. More than likely, if you have decided to be a coach, it's number one, because you've got it in you. Teachers are not everyone. Coaches are not everyone. Not everyone can coach. You have to have a personality where you love being around people and want to help people. You've got patience. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, just like teachers, right? It was in education. So just like teachers, you have to have a lot of those things innate. Can you learn them? Probably, but more than likely, if you've decided that this is what you want to do, you already have them. So a lot of those abilities, you just have them already. You can make them better. If you don't have them and you want them, yes, they're skills you can improve upon. But what else? You have years of experience doing whatever it is that you're an expert in. You've been doing this for forever. And if it's not the same word as what you were doing, don't worry about the small things here. Think about the big picture. If you are, I guess you're always, but if you are a mom, have you been coaching your kids your whole life? Probably, depends on what kind of mom you are, but more than likely you have. If you are the go-to person at work, when everybody has something going on, a challenge or a problem or something, whether you are in the management or leadership role does not make you a leader. A leader makes you a person who guides and a person who leads, and you can be that in any position. So think about where you've been in life, what you've done, and build up those beliefs in you and yourself and in what you have going on. All right. So this one is build resilience. Is anybody guessing the word? Put it down below. I can't wait to see the guesses. Let me see if I can get it on my phone because I too like to look. See. Oh. Barely figure out where I'm going here. All right. All right. Resilience practices. Resilience practices. We talked about these. I don't remember if it was last week or a couple of weeks ago, but we talked about these if you want to go back and look at them. But just have some practices that build your resilience to problems, your resilience, and start tracking it. Like, how great are you at bouncing back? You need to be. So if you're not right now, write it down, write that down, because remember, first step is acknowledgement. If you know that you're not, what are some of the ways that you can start making sure that you are, better and better and better? You don't go from not being a person that bounce backs. You don't go from being a person who doesn't bounce back easily to being a person who bounces back in 5 seconds in a day. You just don't do that. You have to build up on that. So what are some of the ways that you can build up on that? So the middle one, meditation, get creative over on the right. The left, just use your moments to, brain dump, to go through how you got through an older issue. Like, go back through some of the challenges that you had last week and see, how did I get through those? That's going to build your belief in yourself and the resilience of that bounce backness, because now yeah, of course, I've done that before. Get it together. I've got this. So build that resilience. Innovate. Always be thinking of new ways to build that resilience. Always be thinking of new ways to improve. If you're a coach, how can you improve your coaching? What are some things that you can bring into it? I know that for me personally, I just mentioned Mike Harrison. Working with him has improved my coaching abilities because he's an amazing coach. So how can you improve what you're doing? Who can you align yourself with? Who can you hire? What class can you take? What skills can you learn? What new business model can you add on, right? What new platform can you add on? Whatever it is, innovate. Always be changing and looking for, and it doesn't mean, go nutty, because I know as entrepreneurs, this sounds like open market for squirrel, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about knowing, okay, right now, my focus is productivity. My focus is getting my shop in order. And my focus is, building those rituals and routines, example. So what do I need to do to get that in place? How many different ways can I figure out to all feed into that one thing until, now I've got it. And if you're anything like me, you've had an entire lifetime of maybe, being a little chaotic and living that way. Well, when you start hiring people, it's really difficult to stay that way because, your brain gets you, but trying to move stuff to other people is really difficult. And that's where I'm at is, expanding with team is I've got to organize myself a little bit more so that I can really utilize what they can help me with and do with me. So that's one of the things. All right. So innovate. Think of ways you can get more relevant, more effective, just help your clients more, whatever it is. Is everybody following this? So it was B, belief in your ability. R, BR, resilience practices. I, BRI, innovate. D, develop support networks. Who's got it? Type down below if you know what the acronym is already. So BRID. All right, so D, develop support networks. So whether it's a close-knit network of, Maybe you have a small mastermind. Maybe you have a group. I know my group, that's one of the things that they rave about most, which, I wish it was like how amazing my marketing skills are, which they sometimes talk about. But really what they rave about more is the sense of community and the community that we built. So, maybe you have that place where you can go to and not feel embarrassed, or you can ask any question. If you don't, put that on your list. That's one of the things that you really want. You want a group where you can really ask questions. The middle one is that bigger network. So maybe you're in groups like, example, if you use ClickFunnels, are you in the ClickFunnels group, Facebook group? And that's, I don't know how many people, but bazillions. But if you pop a question in there, you have a whole community of people who love ClickFunnels and want to help you. So develop support networks doesn't necessarily mean for, intimate problems. It could mean, hey, how do I add color to this page or whatever? If you have that support network, that's going to move you faster. And then over on the right, that's going to be maybe something in between where we get together and help on specific projects or specific things, whatever it is. So however you develop your support network, are you networking a lot? You've heard about these super networkers, and I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, do they just network all the time, or what does that even mean? And I'll be honest with you, 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't even understand networking, like, at all. And I still don't do a lot of it because my original exposure to networking was, going to those local networking things where everybody just kind of tries to sell each other. Nobody has anything going on and they're all passing out cards. It's horrible. So that was my idea of networking until I finally realized it's not even about that. It's about building relationships, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but super networkers, what they are they network with a lot of people, but they are movers and shakers. They are connectors. They're connecting those people to each other. And I love that concept. This is something I've been thinking about recently. I love that concept. It goes along with so much of who I am and my values. And I'm not necessarily a networker nor a super networker, but I love the concept. Sometimes people feel very uncomfortable hooking up other people. I don't. That makes perfect sense to me. And hopefully, if it doesn't to you today, maybe it will one of these days, but it makes perfect sense to me. So I do really, really love that. And, maybe that's your, third one, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You want to go, 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 go. All right, generate solutions. We can't just sit around thinking around, right? We have to actually figure out what are the solutions. So in the first one, when we were assessing the problem, we came up with our goals and our strategy. So we've got that, and now we're finding those solutions and we're going for it. This is the action, action, action. Let's start moving on those. So what can you do with those, right? So if you've strategized, now you need to find which one of those strategies is going to work for you and start implementing. Put it into place. So the first one was just all about assessing, but now we're talking about really moving. Let's start getting our problems solved. So these are just all of my different little pictures of that. It's not enough. Back to that slide real quick. It is not enough to think of the goals, set the goals, figure out, okay, these are all of my go through your whole strategy, brain dump, get it all into place, and then not execute. How many of you have been there? I've been there. I've been there. So you need to find the solution and try it. Because when I say try, I mean try. The solution may not work the first time you try it. You may have to try it over and over and over. I've heard so many people talk about how Facebook ads don't work. Well, I know they really, really, really work. But if you don't have the right strategy, if you don't have the right resilience, if you don't understand the outcomes and what you're looking for in the KPIs, then of course it makes no sense to you. And it's really scary because money is just kind of going away and you don't see what's really going on is you're trying, because when you find it, then you've got it. Now you move and you try again. So think about that when you are generating those solutions, right? You might try a solution and don't give up before have an amount of time that you're going to try that same solution over and over and over again, because you're pivoting, you're adjusting as you try it. All right, embrace change. So this is kind of what I talked about at the beginning. Change is coming whether you like it or not. That's just the fact of life, a fact of life. And to be quite honest, as entrepreneurs, as coaches, we're in it for the change. We decided a long time ago, or yesterday, or whenever you decided to be in it. For me, it was a long time ago, even before I started this digital marketing agency, that I want to live with the changes. I want that excitement. I want that movement. I want the challenges. I like that. So embrace it. Embrace those changes. They're coming one way or the other. All right. So we've got assess the situation and build resilience. Who can guess what that thing was? We went through every letter. Who's got it? Who's got it? All right. It was bridge. Bridge. All right. Next one. Take action. The framework. Take action. This is our last one. So I know I feel like we're going over. I try to do these fast, but I talk too much. All right. The last one is take action. And it's not action. In case you're wondering, the word is not action, but we're talking about taking action. So we moved into that towards the end of the last one, right? So now we're going for it. Tactical planning. All right, now we know our solution. We know exactly what we're going to do. And we're like step 1, step 2, step 3, tactical planning. Think about, here is the time where you can use that forward thinking. If I do this, then this is going to happen. If this happens, then this is going to happen. And tactical planning isn't meant to freeze you or get you, as I call it, stuck in that spiral. It's not meant to do that, because you've already done all the rest of it up to this point. Right now, you're just figuring out timelines, resources. What do I really need to get this done? You've already got the belief in yourself. You're there. You're doing this. You're no longer debating it. So tactical planning is not like, should I, coulda, woulda. No, it's what do I need? Let's go. Do I need a new person? Do I need a new piece of software? Whatever it was that you decided, now let's put it into action. All right. Oops. So T was the first letter. A is the next letter. Drop it down if you can guess it with just those 2 letters. So we're talking about taking action. Actionable steps. When we're taking action, make sure we're taking the right action. How many days, years, weeks have you sat around and you're like, God, I worked 12 hours today. I have no idea what I did. You were just like spinning around from one thing to another, one thing to another. We don't want to be doing that. We want to make sure they are actionable steps. This is the exact step that I need to do next. The reason I need to do this exact step next is because it fixes this problem, opens the door to this problem, and this is the way I'm going. So you want to make sure that you're moving forward. Same thing goes with our everyday activities. If you are not where you want to be, I almost 100% guarantee you it is you. 100%. I guarantee you it is you. 100% it is you. Something in your brain. But right after that is not taking actionable steps. It's, I kind of know what I want to do, but I'm not really doing it. If you're new, you need to be doing a certain amount of outreach every day. You need to be doing a certain amount of content planning, content creation, content distribution. You need to be. There are things that you need to do when you're new. And if you're not doing them, you're not taking the actionable steps, the ones that matter. All right, C, we got TAC. Continuous evaluation. Continuous evaluation. So you want to be improving at all times. Continuous improvement at all times. You want to be 1% better. How many times have I said that? We should make that a drinking game. I've said that several times throughout this. And the reason is because when you're moving through these different frameworks, the reason you're going through them like we're going through them is because by the time you get to the end of the second and the third, you're ready to go. You've got all of your head in space, in the right place. Better. You have your head in the right place. And now you're moving, you're taking the right actions, and you are 1% better every single day. Every single day. How can I make this better? Know what it is that you're focusing on. I saw LinkedIn, one of those expert LinkedIn questions the other day, and it was about knowing what your KPIs should be. Well, that's like a really crazy broad, I think it was like knowing what your KPIs should be when you're doing digital marketing, or I don't know what it was, but it was like a very broad question, because my KPIs are probably not going to be the same as yours and his. And I mean, maybe they are, but it depends on what your goal is. Your goal is going to be the one that, drives those KPIs. So you need to know what it is that you want to improve. Does that make sense? Because if you're improving something over here, but your goal is over here, what good is that doing you? Maybe eventually it moves, but that's not the way we want to work. If this is our goal, we want to work towards that goal. We don't want to be doing all this other stuff unless we have team, unless we have extra people, unless we're here already, and then we can start adding that. But you don't want to add all that stuff at the beginning. And a lot of times, all that extra stuff is us procrastinating. It's us, creating that website because, we have thousands of people that we need to send to it. Do you really? All right. Training and development. T-R-A. T-A. Oh my God. T-A-T-I. All right. T-A-C. Oh my God. Ignore. T-A-C-T-I. All right. That was the I. Hold on. All right. All right. Incorporate feedback. Sorry. I got all in my head there. Incorporate feedback. So you always want to be getting feedback at all times and build up that resilience to the feedback. You do not want yes men in your company, or, most of the time. You don't want people who tell you, wow, that was so great. That was awesome. You want your clients to say that, of course, especially if they're doing it publicly. But you also want to know, what is it that you can improve upon? You want to hear their opinion and what they have going on. So yes, get those 5-star reviews, but also have a way for them to let you know anonymously or privately or not in a review how they think you can improve. What are some things that you could add to what you're doing now? And maybe you can't add it. Maybe you can't. Maybe you go through the whole process and you realize, well, I really just can't do that. But maybe you put it in that brain dump and you say, when I get to this point, I'm going to add that in there. I love it. I just can't do it right now. That's okay too. Maybe you've been doing something that isn't really working and you just keep doing it because it is in your rituals and routines, and you just keep doing it over and over and over again. Evaluate, and then incorporate that feedback. Ask people, take it with a grain of salt. If you're taking feedback from strangers who are, hating you on your social media, maybe that's not the feedback that you need to be taking. If you are taking feedback from other peers who are not making a lot of money or highly successful in what they're doing and is the same thing that you want to do, then maybe they're not the right person. So look and evaluate. Who are you taking that feedback from? Customers you should always listen to. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Maybe they had a bad day, but think about their ideas and see, is there something that you can extract from what they're telling you? Because if it's a -1, maybe there is some truth to it. So you always want to look for that, and you want to be open to that. Build up the calluses. Know that you're not perfect. You want to get 1% better. So in order to get 1% better, you cannot be perfect. 1% better is happiness. All right, the last one is celebrate progress. So tactic. Now I'm laughing. I'm like, is that even a word? Tactic. Yeah. I'm crazy today. Tactic. Yeah. All right. Progress. What are the steps? What's the growth? Have you done anything? I talked about this in another one too. I had done like some amazing things, and I don't know why I just blew them off because something else that I was focused on wasn't really going the way I had planned, and totally forgot about all those other things till I was talking to my partner and he mentioned something else. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I totally did do that. So I want you to start making a practice daily, right? At least 1, 2, 3 things that you rocked at today. What did you do today? And one thing that got you closer to your BHAG. One thing that got you close to your BHAG. If you can't write that one thing that got you close to your BHAG, that is the first thing that you want to work on tomorrow, right? Every morning, or if you plan at night, which you should, what's the one thing that would make tomorrow a successful day? What's the one thing that would make today a successful day? And I'm going to tell you, it can be a 30-second activity if it's the one thing that's going to move you closer to your goal. It can be a 30-second activity if it is the thing that's going to move you closer to your goal, because that's the thing that's going to make you successful today. You can choose something else as what you want it to be, but I encourage you to make it something that is going to move you closer to that goal. And obviously, I'm not saying do 30-second things and don't push yourself. I want you pushing yourself. I want you getting better every single day and get to that goal faster. So for those of you who have ever tried to lose weight, I am using I go through this crazy battle a lot. And I'd like to not go through the battle, but I keep doing it. Anyway, I know for me personally, the times that I've lost any weight at all were the times that I was tracking what I was doing, which is what I obviously tell my clients to do in their business. So whenever I'm tracking what I'm doing, I understand that is the best way to do it. So I use this app. I will not tell you my numbers, but I put in my numbers. I put in what I wanted to do, when I wanted to, how quickly I wanted to do it, blah, blah, blah. Now I've got it set to what I'm hoping is doable regardless. I'm not going super aggressive, because when I do that, when I try to lose weight, I fail. So I'm trying to do it so that I stay the pace or whatever. However, it has an end date. So if I do better this week and next week, this end date will start moving because of my progress. So that is kind of a cool thing. And if you're tracking your progress, that might be something that you want to look at. If you think it's going to take you, 180 days to get something done, and you're cranking it out because you've got that 1% better every single day, you might start realizing, wow, I could actually get this done a lot faster. I mean, maybe the opposite is true too. Like you start realizing, wow, this is a lot more work than I thought it was. That's okay, because we're going to reassess and we're going to change it, when that goal is, if that's the case. But it can happen in the positive way as well. All right, so celebrate that progress. Make sure that you are looking at what you are doing great on a daily basis, weekly basis at the max, because you get any past a week, especially at my age, I can't remember yesterday. Forget about last quarter or last year. So write those down and keep logs of that so that you can look back and be like, oh my, God, I feel like I'm not going anywhere. Oh, I'm not getting anything done. You look back and you're like, wow, yeah, actually, I've done a lot. You know, maybe you're not where you want to be, but you have done a lot. So check it out. It'll make you feel better. All right. Turn barriers into bridges. Assess the situation, build resilience, and take action. All right. First of all, I'm going to add in those frameworks if you want it. But if you want those frameworks and the change readiness checklist, this is like, if that made no sense to you, it's how ready are you for change? Are you, are you prepared if something is changing? So DM me barriers and I will send it right over. So if you want the checklist, I'll send that over, and I will also send you the frameworks that we went over. All right, I went a little bit over today. Sorry. Thank you guys so much. Happy to have you here. If you're watching on the replay, #replay, and we will be back again next week, 11 a.m. for Elevate and Engage. See you then. Ciao, ciao. All right. Let me